Bob Castellini is an American businessman. He's not a businessman. He's a businessman from Cincinnati. And he is the founder, owner, chairman of Castellini Company, or Castellini Corporation, who is a fruits and vegetables wholesaler. Now, Bob Castellini has been a baseball fan forever. He's from Cincinnati. He's 80 years old, and 15 years ago, he bought the Reds. Bob Castellini. So this is a guy born in the 40s, built a fruit and vegetables wholesaler company from the ground up, founded it with his bare hands. This is a man of the greatest generation. This is a guy that, again, with his bare hands, built a multi-million-dollar, $100 million enterprise with wits and hard work and grit and guts. Great American story. And 15 years ago, he buys his hometown Cincinnati Reds. He's always been a baseball fan. He had been a minority owner in a number of other teams. Finally got a chance to buy his club, the Reds. Boom. And what does he do? He hands baseball operations, basically, to his son, Phil. Great. And Phil, yesterday, was asked about the fans who have started to really turn on the Reds. The Reds are going through a major bloodletting, a massive rebuild. Basically, they're tanking. They've traded away everybody. Since the end of the 2020 season, the Reds have decided we're just going to sell. And going into this season, in the last month, they've traded everybody and basically gone into the season with one of the lowest payrolls in baseball. So Reds fans, who, it should be noted, are one of the great baseball fan bases in America. Forever, baseball's opening day was defined by Cincinnati. Reds fans of a certain generation remember the 70s and the Big Red Machine, a model organization that drafted and developed winners. And even after the Johnny Bench years, the Pete Rose years, the Big Red Machine, still developed players like Barry Larkin and won a World Series in 1990 and were at the very least a solid, steady organization, even if ownership, Marge Schott, was questionable. Well, in the last 15 years, it's been pretty bleak. There's been only, I think, 4 winning seasons out of the 15. They haven't won a playoff series. Last couple of times have been one and done in the wild card. And fans are now hot. It's a great baseball town, and they're hot. And Phil Castellini goes on 700 WLW yesterday and responds to all of the Reds fans that are giving him and the franchise heat for acting like woe is us.
Why should that fan maintain trust in you?
Well, where are you going to go? Let's start there. I mean, sell the team to who? I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, you want to have this debate. You know, if you want to look at what would you do with this team to have it be more profitable, make more money, compete more in the current economic system that this game exists, it would be to pick it up and move it somewhere else. Yeah. And so be careful what you ask for. You know, I think we're doing the best we can do with the resources that we have.
Like, that is the bingo of the worst things to say to your fan base. By the way, again, a fan base that doesn't not come out despite a winner, like maybe Tampa Bay. Not a fan base that's a Johnny-come-lately, will only come to the ballpark maybe if we're in the playoffs, like a Miami. This is a fan base that's been there for generations. I mean, the Cincinnati Reds have existed as either the Red Stockings, the Red Legs of the Reds for 150 years. And won a World Series in 1990 well after the financial boom had happened in free agency in Major League Baseball. That was 12 years prior, 13 years prior. So they had somehow maneuvered a way to win a championship well into spending tons of money on players in the early 90s. Where you gonna go? Is that not one of the most abusive relationship statements you could make? And again, this isn't the guy that built $1 million corporation. This is just his jamoke son that inherited this position, which is why you say something like this, because you've never had to work a day in your life, because you had a team and a corporation handed to you because of daddy. When you say something like, where are you going to go? It is such a spit in the face to the people that do grind out warehouse jobs, that do grind out delivery jobs, that are school teachers, that are nurses, that are working 9 to 5s and scrap together the money they need to buy that jersey, to buy those tickets, to buy that hat, to buy that beer or soda at the ballpark, to tell them where you're going to go. Yeah, we might suck, but what? You're not going to be a Reds fan suddenly? Is so offensive. It is so spitting in the face, waving a middle finger, and taking your thumb and pressing it on the forehead of the fan and pushing them down into the dirt. Where are you going to go? That is when a husband and wife get into a huge argument and one of the spouses just demeans the other, and the other says, I want a divorce, I want to break up, I could do better, and the other spouse goes, where you gonna go? What, you think you could do better than me? It is so antagonistic and so frustrating. And I can't let this go. I simply can't let this go. Bob Castellini is a Cincinnati businessman. He's 80 years old. He grew up as a Reds fan, built his own multi-million-dollar fruits and vegetables wholesale company, then bought the Reds in 2006. He gave his son, Phil, a major role as COO and director of baseball ops or whatever. Phil, yesterday on the radio on 700 WLW in Cincinnati, is asked about Reds fans that are hot right now because over the last 2 years, they've stripped down the roster, they've sold all their talent, and they're tanking, looking to reboot like the Astros did, like the Cubs did, like these franchises have done with some success to build back into winners. Now, some just keep doing it, like the Baltimore Orioles. But here is Phil Castellini answering the question about what do you tell the fans that are really annoyed that you're not even trotting out or even trying to trot out a competitive lineup on opening day.
Why should that fan maintain trust in you?
Well, where are you going to go? Let's start there. I mean, sell the team to who? I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, you want to have this debate. You know, if you want to look at what would you do with this team to have it be more profitable, make more money, compete more in the current economic system that this game exists, it would be to pick it up and move it somewhere else. Yeah. And so be careful what you ask for. You know, I think we're doing the best we can do with the resources that we have.
It is so offensive on so many levels. So offensive. I mean, no, number one, Phil Castellini's never worked a day in his life. His daddy bought him a baseball team. He's got no baseball background, no baseball bona fides, wasn't a player, wasn't a scout, wasn't an executive, has absolutely no credibility to do what he does. But daddy gave him a team, which is how you know the tone is what the tone is. Because he doesn't get it. This is a guy that's on third base and thinks he hit a triple, but he was born there. He didn't earn this spot. That's for damn sure. Because if he understood the grind it takes to become a COO of a baseball team, to be entrusted with a civic institution such as the Cincinnati Reds, he might not be so flippant in the answer. Number 2, where you gonna go? Telling a fan base that he knows is loyal to a fault. Tortured. Where you gonna go? What are you gonna do? You love the Reds. We know you love the Reds, and so you just got to suck it up, because where are you going to go? Bengals? Number 3, sell the team. I hear that. Sell it to who? What? As though there's not a line of billionaires that are constantly knocking at the door of these leagues going, can you please let me in? Please? I'll be in my best behavior. David Tepper bought the Carolina Panthers for $2.4 billion. Hedge fund guy. Stephen Cohen bought the New York Mets for $2.5 billion. Hedge fund guys. There's tech guys, hedge fund guys, the new billionaires. They all want a piece of this action. Who are you going to sell it to? What? As though you're the only family in America that wants to own a baseball team and will take it in Cincinnati? I mean, give me a break. I would think there's plenty of billionaires that would enjoy having a relatively new ballpark on the river in a baseball mad city, in a sports mad state with the history of the Cincinnati Reds. I would imagine, actually, there's definitely other options to own the team. And number 3, the idea that, well, the only real solution here is pick it up and move it out of this city because of the financials of this game. You're really going to hide behind that? When the Tampa Bay Rays do what they do, you're really going to hide behind that? When the Rays every year compete and sometimes outcompete a payroll that's $200 million more by the Yankees, by the Red Sox, you're going to hide behind the financials of the game. Just means there's no way we can compete in Cincinnati, so we just have to move it. If you want World Series, we got to pick up and move. Careful what you wish for. Threatening. Going to move the Cincinnati Reds? Now, I realize the Reds haven't been much of anything for a long time, but moving the Cincinnati Reds, one of the most historic franchises in Major League Baseball, is such a problematic and such a douche move and claim by this guy. It's like, how dare you? Now you're going to threaten to move the team because we just want you to be competitive. That's all we're looking for. It's just unbelievably distasteful to your fans. And again, this isn't going to get a lot of national play because it's Cincinnati and because it's baseball, but it deserves it. This is the president of the baseball team saying, A, where are you going to go, suckers? B, we can't compete in this market anyway. You want us to move? And C, who's going to buy the team anyway? It is a couple in the most dysfunctional relationship. And one of the partners just saying, where you going to go? You can't do better than me, and I know it. So you're stuck with me, even if you hate me. Who cares? I'm going out to the bar. Cook me dinner. I mean, it is just so offensive in tone. After the comments were made, a local TV reporter said, I'm going to give you a chance to clarify. In a one-on-one stand-up, he said, clarify what? I didn't say anything. Clarify what? How do they take it? It's so defiant, it's so aggressive, it's so tone-deaf, it's so obnoxious. And then, only after clearly people within the organization said, Phil, you might want to apologize. We got to do something. Everybody's really mad about this. Finally, he issued a 2-sentence apology in a memo, which is certainly not genuine, not authentic. This Phil Castellini should be strung up by his toes. This is unbelievable. They should be able to throw all the fruits and vegetables from his dad's wholesaler at this dude. Get him out. This is so obnoxious. What a total putz. What a complete and utter putz.